welcome back to That Girl with Books. I'm Ria for those of you who don't know me, and I'm here with a new reading vlog. Basically, this vlog includes all the novels that I have read past these months, starting from January to April. So I was reading this Kindle Insights that we get, that how many books you have read so far, or how many books you have read in specific months, or what is your analysis and what your analytics are about your reading and all that stuff. So while I was going through this insights, I found out that I have read so many books past these months. Approximately there were 108 or 110. I read 26 novels in January and 27 in February, 29 in March, and I guess 26 or 27 in April. And I wanted to share with you all of them because most of them come from Mafia, and then we have standalones, we have rom-com, we have like this office romance. There were so many mixed genres, and I really wanted to share with you. And I was thinking that I should rather make a long video or a short one, and then I came across this conclusion that if I start talking about all the books that I have read past these months, I cannot stop, because since I'm a book lover, if I start talking about a book, I'll just go on, and that won't be worth. So I'll be talking about few novels in this video, and I promise you to be back with the wrap up 2 of April, and I'll be talking about more books in that video. So the very first one is Second Chances by Alice Reed. This is the first novel in Love on Sets. So basically, Alice Reed is a dead author. This is her first novel, and I came across her through Instagram. She messaged me and asked me to read her this novel, and I was intrigued, and I was like, since I'm a book lover, so I wanted to read something new, something crisp. So I definitely agreed, and then I read her this dead novel. This is An Offense to Lovers romance novel. We talk about Emilia. She is the next door kind of a girl. She is in love with Liam since they were childhood, but she kind of dumped him because she has to make her career in acting, and she goes away to city. We see that 5 years later, Emilia is back in her town because she's running from a scandal, and she stumbles upon to Liam because Liam kind of rescues her from the scandal, and then they end up being working in a Netflix show together because Liam is kind of a struggling actor. He's not that kind of a big that Emilia is, and Emilia agrees because she is like this desperate for this role and to make her image well, because she's an actress, and she kind of agrees, and then they start working on a set pretending to be in love only to be fallen in love. This was such a new story for me, and I was intrigued by it. I was intrigued by the writing that Alice has written such beautifully, and I definitely recommend this one to read, and I'll give this novel 4 stars out of 5. And I was like so in awe that what a beautiful story it was, even it was her dead novel. So I'll definitely recommend you to read this one. The next novel is Not the Boss of Me by Kenzie Reed. Basically, this comes under the trope of rom-com, enemies to lovers, and office romance. We see that Fiona and Blake meet under different circumstances, and this is difficult situation where Blake is working on this site that is near Fiona's apartment, and it's 7 in the AM, and she's sleeping, and her sleeps get disturbed. She goes to Blake and complains about her, and even though Blake and Fiona, when they see for each other for the very first time, they are attractive towards each other, but since their first meeting is kind of embarrassing and difficult, they end up hating each other and starts pulling prank on each other. Since Fiona is desperate for this job, she goes to this fashion Hudson company, and she claims this job, and she got this job because she's interviewed and she has passed it with flying colors. And we see that she doesn't know that it's the same company that Blake is the CEO of, and she's like, when they meet that he's the CEO, she's like so mortified. She's like, I won't work for you, but then she's desperate and she has to work. Then she says that you're not the boss of me because I don't work for you. I technically work for your sister, and I'm not your directly assistant. And this gets Blake only angry, and he makes her personal assistant, making her like a Iran boy, and making her do things that are not even in her what we say CV. And this all happens, and then they start falling for each other, and that's all the novel is about. I was intrigued by it. I was laughing my ass out while I was reading this. I definitely recommend this one. I'll give this novel 4 stars out of 5. I came across this randomly while in my Kindle recommendations, and I was intrigued by the title, so I thought, why not give it a try? So I'll definitely definitely recommend you to read this one. Next, I'll be talking about my favorite author, Lyla James. Since everyone knows that Lyla has my heart and my soul, I might be partial about this novel, but again, we know that Lyla writes such beautiful characters, stories that one is intrigued by them and one is in love with them. We see in this novel a vow of hate. It is an arranged marriage romance, also an enemies to lovers romance. We see our hero and villain at the same time. Killian hates Juliana, our heroine, because he thinks that she has killed or murdered, if we say, the love of his life. But we see that Juliana is not the person she says she is or she tends to be. We see that Juliana is Gracelyn, Gracelyn is Juliana, the love of Killian's life. We also see that Killian isn't aware of this fact. He thinks that she has murdered his love, and he is on this mission to make his new wife's life miserable. And when he discovers that she is the one, she is the Gracelyn, she is Juliana, Juliana is Gracelyn, Gracelyn is Juliana, he is so mortified. He is like in shock. He doesn't know what to do, he doesn't know what to say. And that's the novel is all about, how two people who hate each other finds love in each other's hatred. The novel is all about. I was into this story, I was crying, I was sobbing my eyes out while I was reading this one. I'll definitely recommend this one. I'll give this novel 5 stars out of 5. It was a worth read, and definitely Lyla has all my heart. So next I will be talking about a series. The series is by Aylow. To be honest, I was intrigued by the author's name. That's why I thought, why shouldn't I give it a try, because it was in my Kindle's recommendation. Again, when I was reading the series, I was like, wow, what a beautiful series and how beautifully it's written. So this series goes by the name of Playboy of New York Billionaire series. The very first one in this is Off Limits. We see that in Off Limits, it is and strangers to friends to lovers kind of romance. We see Chloe and Noah. Then we see in the second one is Off Limits. It is an office romance where our hero and heroine work for each other. Our hero is the CEO, our heroine is this, what we say, his secretary, and they have their feelings, but they are on and off, and that's all the novel is about. The third one is The Merger. It is a fake dating one, in which we see that they are too drunk and one night and then they get married, and the boy's family proposes this kind of proposal which the girl cannot refuse, and she agrees, and they have to stay married, this fake kind of married, till a year or so, and that's how in an year they fall for each other. And then the fourth one is Taking Control. It is again an office romance kind of a thing where our hero is a chef, and this Stella is this secretary, and she meets with an accident, and our hero has always has these feelings, but these were on and off. So now, since they are living in the same apartment and helping each other out, they fall in love. And the fourth or the fifth one is Without Warning. It is released recently, I guess back in April's ending, and it is and strangers to friends to lovers romance novel kind of thing. And it is about, what we say, Rise and Ariana. We see that Rai is struggling from a divorce kind of a thing, and on the Ariana is struggling from her career. We also see that in this series, these 4 or 5 people are friends and they know each other. We see each couple's glimpses in each novel, and each novel is interconnected, so you cannot read the as standalones. It is to be read in a series. I'll definitely recommend this one. I'll give this novel 4 stars out of 5, and I was happy that I came across Aylow. The next one is kind of a standalone, but not a complete standalone, what we say. This is The Revenge Pact by Ilsa. Basically, this is the first book in the King Football series. I haven't completed the series yet, so it is a kind of standalone for me till yet. So we see in this novel that a hero and heroine have been in the same university. They go through same classes and they have their eyes on each other. But since they have their eyes on each other and they both are in their respective relationships, and they hate themselves for having an eye for each other, even though they should focus on their own relationships and their own life. We see that our heroine has been ditched, and our heroine has been cheated upon by her boyfriend. So she is one day crying, and then our hero comes and says that you shouldn't cry, I don't like seeing you cry. And he's like, why did I say that? And they end up having classes together, and one of them says that please teach me this kind of a subject, and our heroine agrees, and then they start spending time with each other. And since they start spending time with each other, they are intrigued by each other's character. They are in kind of what we say love-hate relationship about their own feelings and their own thoughts. And we see that our heroine kind of poses this what we say proposal that please be my rebound guy, only to make my boyfriend jealous and all that stuff. And that's how this kind of a fake dating trope in this, and then they end up falling for each other. It was a nice novel. The pace was too cool. Even it was a slow burn kind of a romance. I enjoyed it thoroughly. I'll definitely recommend this one. I'll give this novel 4 stars out of 5. So the next one is Born by Blood by Cora Reilly. It is basically an anthology. When I talk about anthology, we say that anthology is a collection of short stories. It is usually written by different authors or by the same one. This is written by the same author, Cora Reilly, and this anthology includes 6 couples. We talk about Ara and Luca, Matthew and Gianna. Then we talk about Lily and Romero, Stella and Marco. And there was also this couple I'm not remembering because I guess this in February, and we came across their life after being married to I guess 5-6 years, when they have children, and how they treat their children, how children treats them back, and what their life is now. Since back then they were madmen, they were fighting always, there was chaos in their life, but now they have this peace. We came across Luca and Aria's children, Emo and Marcella. Marcella is beautiful, Emo is cute and angry type of a guy. And we also see Romero and Liliana's children and their life. Then we see Matthew and Gianna, whom doesn't want to be parents, but now Gianna is pregnant, and they don't know how to handle this situation, and they don't know whether to give up their life for their child or not. Then we see that in this anthology, these couple have made strong choices. They have made strong decisions that really intrigued me. I'll definitely recommend you to read this one. I'll give this anthology 4 stars out of 5, and it was really nice one. The pace was good. I was really happy while reading this one, so I'll definitely recommend this one. So the next one is a trilogy. It is a Mafia Trilogy. It is by Nicole Fox. So Nicole Fox is also one of my favorite authors. She usually writes in mafia tropes, and I've came across her I guess in 2019, and she writes such beautiful stories. So this trilogy I came across randomly again in my Kindle, and it goes by the name I guess Biloki Mafia Family. I'm not sure by the trilogy's name, but there are 3 books. The very first one is Corrupted Angel, second is Corrupted Queen, the third one is Corrupted Empire. We see that the story is about Alexei and Gabriel. Alexei and Gabriel meets in one of the bars one night, and they kind of click it off. And we see after not 3-4 months, I guess after a year or so, that she is pregnant with Gabriel's baby, but she never goes to him and tells him that this is your baby. And since Alexei is this kind of a reporter, she goes to Gabriel, and she doesn't know that Gabriel is this famous businessman, and she goes for this interview only to be make truth with the fact that he is Gabriel, the guy that gave him the most precious prized possession, that is their son. And that's how Gabriel is like all this, that he is my son, and you are the mother of my child. I'll not let you go, and you will stay with me. She is oblivious to the fact that he works in mafia, and because she thinks that he is this big businessman who is billionaire or something kind of thing. And soon we see that in all these 3 books, Alexei learns that he works for the mafia, the crime family she wants to get rid of through her newspaper, and her editor says that you have to spy on him and you have to do this and that. And that's how the novel is all about, a child bonding to people, to their parents, and how Gabriel and Alexei come together. And that's all the novel is about. I definitely recommend this one. I'll give this novel 4 stars out of 5. I was intrigued by the story, and it was this little secret kind of a baby that usually had my heart, and their child was so adorable. And there were scenes where I was like, oh, I was swoon worthy of Gabriel and Alexei both. So I'll definitely recommend you to read this one. Next I'll be talking about is a duet. So basically this duet is about two brothers who works with each other in a hospital, and one is the CEO of the hospital, other is the doctor himself. He is a cardiologist, and we see that the first novel in this is Dr. Michelle, the second is Mr. Michelle. Dr. Michelle is kind of a strangers to friends to lovers kind of a novel, where we see Dr. Michelle meets this stranger back 3-4 months prior, where they spend a beautiful night together, and then she stumbles upon him when his father is sick and having a heart attack, and Dr. Michelle's kind of saves his life, and then they have this little meetings about their father, about themselves, and then they start to date each other, and then that's the novel all about. The second one in this is the Mr. Michelle. It is a single parent romance. We see that our hero Mr. Michelle meets our heroine on a plane where he is going to, I guess, London for some business meeting, and she is having trouble with his ex-boyfriend or his husband sort of thing, and he kinds of helps her, and then they are intrigued by each other's personality, and then they end up being together after, I guess, 2 to 3 weeks when they meet each other again in London, and that's the novels are all about. I was like really intrigued by the titles and the writing. I haven't read earlier any book related to Raylin Marks, the author, so I was not sure that I might like this novel or not, but when I was reading it, I really liked them, and I liked the character development, the story, the evolution of their relationships towards each other and all that stuff. I'll definitely recommend this one. I'll give this to it 4 stars out of 5. That's all I have for you from January to April wrap up. I know, as I already talked, that I have read 110 books, but I couldn't imagine making such a long video for you guys. I wanted to make you aware of few novels that I really like, and I'll be back with the April wrap up video too, and I'll be talking about more novels that I read from January to April. Thank you so much for watching my channel. Like, share, subscribe, and please press the bell button icon so that you can get notified whenever I post a new video. And please stay safe, stay at your homes, and because I know this pandemic situation has been very difficult. Let's hope we get out of this very soon, and I'll be more happy to recommend you new novels, new stories, new authors, and I'll be soon back. Thank you so much for watching my channel again.